Hey, what's going on, guys? As a part of our new schedule, I'm going to be switching back and forth between Craig of the Creek and Avatar. That way, I'm able to get a lot more videos out to you guys faster. And yeah, so here we go. Episode 2 of Craig of the Creek. This episode really opened my mind entirely of what Craig of the Creek really is. It's kids in like a kid's world, or like the actual world in these fantasy worlds that are beyond what they could be creatively. It's creativity. It's similar to what Kids Next Doors was, and I felt that that is like really complex and hard to bring alive. And it's not just that they use everything at their fingertips, and they bring it to light. Not only that, you have a strong cast of characters along with like these random characters that come out of nowhere, and they're very strong as well. So, in this episode, we get to see more about Kelsey and her life. It's basically her, her parent, and no one else a lot of the times. You have her dad, but her dad's not there much. He's usually at work, from what we would know. He kind of accepts her creative side. As for Craig, his creative side is not really taken. And yeah, that's kind of what we get. We also get to see Craig's brother. He's very much at this phase where he's adulting, but he's also in school at the same time. And from what we heard, he's in like 10th, 11th ish grade. But we at least know he's in high school. So Craig, pretty much grade school, and then his brother, I think his brother's name is Bernard. I don't know if it's told us his name yet, but yeah, there we go. So we get to see about Kelsey and her life and what it really was at her house that Craig went to. And after that, they're at the creek and they're. Oh, I forgot to mention, Kelsey also has a parrot, and she took her parrot with her. So they go to the creek and they make these like little boats to sail in the creek. And what happens is she lets her parent board the ship that Craig made. And while that's going on, out of nowhere, this two kids come out of nowhere. One of them touches the other one, and they say, "You're it," and that's the episode. So this kid is tagged it. All that's going on. That ship is going away, and Kelsey has to go save her parrot and go get it. So she goes in the water, and she's like, "Craig, go save yourself." Anyway, all at once, that kid that got tagged, he touches her, and she basically passes out. And from there, the whole episode complex is that Kelsey needs to tag someone, but she can't do it. In this episode, we get to meet another new place. It's the trading yard slash block, and it's where they like trade random things. Like JP traded a battery and got a bag of chips for the trade. It's pretty awesome, and it just reminds me so much of how Kids Next Door has these like, I guess these settings that are so realistic, but are so like kids. It's like kids fantasy and realism together that really is like the finishing touch that is like amazing in my marks. It's just hard to replicate something like that and actually perform with it. Um, but yeah, she keeps not one, even the baddest one. I think it was some junior like Boy Scout, and he's just going around kind of being a jerk to everyone and trying to like put the rules down. And while he's turned away trying to get free bag of chips from the trader, Kelsey tries to go tag him. There's also another one in the very beginning of whenever she's trying to tag someone else. Uh, JP gets some boy to fall over. He makes him drop something, and Craig was basically telling Kelsey to go tag this boy, and it was this little innocent like kid, and she's like, I can't do it. And then she was like, oh, you're gonna tag that kid, you know, in like a sad way. Um, After that, Kelsey didn't know what to do. Everyone else didn't know what to do. She wanted to kind of end the game of tag. So they go to see the elders, and the elders are like these older nerds that are like LARPers that are still continuously playing games and doing the fantasy stuff that's still childlike. In reality, I think they're Bernard's age, his brother's age, and yeah, so they're scared of Kelsey. They don't even want to play tag. They were talking about some other boy that played tag and ended the game of tag, and he moved all the way to Germany. So after that, they weren't helpful. Kelsey was just depressed and like wanted to just finish this game of tag. So she was talking about just getting away from it all, and out of nowhere, Craig comes and hugs her and tells her no. And whenever that happens, Craig passes out and he has a flashback. And the flashback that he has is the beginning of the very first game of tag. He says, oh no, and then he says the name of that character, and they're like, what's going on? Are you okay? And Kelsey was trying to get Craig to tag her again. That way he does, because she's a warrior, she wants to do it alone. And Craig just moves away from her and stops her. They finally come up with this idea after, you know what I mean? They began to think about the worst, but then they're like, oh wait, there's a solution to all this. We just have to tag someone that's not, you know, that doesn't like the creek. So there's this earlier thing where they try to get a dog tagged, and what they do is the only other kid that doesn't want to be a part of the creek is, of course, Craig's brother Bernard. So they lure him there, and JP tells him that there's someone there to tutor him for his big test coming up, his SATs, I believe it was. And he gets there and he sees the dog with like a human face on it. It's really just a piece of paper. And he goes over to the book and he's like, it's not even the SATs, it's like the PCATs. He's like, that's not even a teacher, that's a dog. And so Kelsey and Greg both chase him. It's this really awesome episode. And in the end, you know what I mean? We get to learn more about Kelsey. We get to see more of this beautiful world that's so basic, but so great. Because they take something that's in reality nothing and turn this fantasy setting up a notch. And I think that's just beautiful whenever someone can do that. It's not that crazy, but this isn't. I haven't seen this since Kids Next Door. So it's kind of like a throwback of that, and it's bringing it to life. Instead of it being this like futuristic type setting that Kids Next Door wanted to have, so like the generic boy setting, this one is medieval kind of, but it's got a little spin off of like some other stuff up in there. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I thought this was a 9.5 episode. I recommend to watch Craig the Creek. 1 was good. Number 2 was way better. It knocks it out of the park. I was actually smiling and I was excited the whole time I watched this. Yeah. Tell me what you guys think about Craig of the Creek so far. I mean, number 2, do you think this one's a better episode than the last one? Or do you think the last episode was better than this one? Last episode is called Itched. This one is called You're It. So, I don't know. I enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoy it. Anyway, guys, hope you guys stay safe. And yeah, peace.